What's good, guys? Welcome back to the full card predictions. Yet again, we are doing Deiveson Figueiredo versus Cory Sandhagen. It's going to be an absolute banger match. A matchup that I think a lot of you guys are going to be expecting. A matchup that I think is going to be massive. I think it's going to be exciting. Obviously, not as exciting as what happened with Machado Gary versus Prates. That card was absolutely sick. But we're going to go over each and every single one of these fights, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. But of course, we can't talk about next week without talking about what happened last week. So I want to mention, guys, I am on a seven fight lock of the week streak. That being, of course, let me remind you guys of my lock of the week streak. Here it is. It is coming. Here it is. It is Ignacio Bahamondes, Kevin Vallejos, Carlos Ulberg, David Martinez, Taurus Finney, Paddy Pimblett was the sixth one. And my seventh lock of the week streak, Zhang Mengyang, came in clutch. So we're on a 7-fight lock of the week streak. Ignacio Bahamondes, Kevin Vallejos, Carlos Ulberg, David Martinez, Taurus Finney, Paddy Pimblett, and Zhang Mengyang. Now, we're looking to make it 8 this week. So stay tuned for Wednesday, 6 best bets and lock of the week. So let's get it. Of course, we have an absolute banger card ahead of us. So let's look at how we did last week. When I look at this card, it was an absolute amazing card. Let's run it through real quick. Justin Edwards get a TK over Chandler. Man, did I not expect that at all. Romero, a little bit of an early stoppage, but it is what it is. It happens. He was losing that fight either way. It happens. Ivana gets submitted. I was going to say it looked a little sketchy. It didn't look like that under 1.5 was going to come in clutch, but it ended up prevailing. Wallmaker versus Simon. I will say this one's a little bit of a sketchy one in my opinion. It was a fight that I did not expect Wallmaker to actually prevail. He got the knockout, and that was absolutely amazing. This guy carries some power that I have not seen like no other. In fact, this guy is by far one of my new favorite fighters, Malcolm Wallmaker. Let's go. Welcome to the UFC, my guy. Blackshear gets a good win, but he wasn't able to find the submission. It happens. Chris Gutierrez wins. I'm glad I pick flipped, but I will say I'm glad that I didn't. I'm a little upset that I pick flipped on Michelle. Elder, Young, banger scrap. Elder, let's go. That's what I like to see. Flick versus Schnell. Damn, was that a crazy fight. And that under 1.5 did not hit, but the over 1.5 hit. So let's go. I had the over 1.5. Let's go. Alaskar versus Muniz. Damn, was that an absolute murder. And Brown versus Dalby. Man, am I impressed with Brown. I'm so happy I didn't take the over 2.5. Because damn. I had Brown by decision, but damn. I also had Brown by KO on points, and damn, was that a crazy fight. Pereira versus Magomedov. This is one of those fights where I wish I didn't pick flip, but of course I pick flipped. I thought I was a minus 142. I thought there was value on Pereira, but this guy's having an asthma attack after 2 minutes of fighting. And then Chikadze. Chikadze was a guy who I wasn't upset. I'm not upset with Chikadze. He did what he had to do. He was doing very good in the striking department, but I will say, guys, if you get controlled for over 2 minutes in one round, you already lost that round. If you get, whether it's against the fence, whether it's on the bottom, if you spend 2 minutes on your back, you have to do something that takes over the entire round in order for you to get that round back. If you get controlled for either 2 minutes against the fence, on the back, or even just an accumulative 2 minutes, you got to do something to bounce back. Giga Chikadze won the first round, barely, then lost the second and third. Those 2 minutes of control from Onama really came in clutch. Respect to you, Onama, because I had that win on my hand the other day with Taurus Finney, so I know how it feels. Now I'm on the wrong end of that, so let's go. But it is what it is, guys. If you don't want to get held, don't learn your grappling. Get better at grappling. Giga Chikadze, you need to get better because Giga Chikadze got up. He got his back taken. Onama took his back, and then he went right back to sitting on his back like a wet noodle. That's something that I don't think he'll ever get better at wrestling. And then Zhang comes in clutch. This is what I like to see, baby. Let's get it. And then Ian Gary. Let's go. I'm proud of you, Ian Gary. A lot of people had protests, but we all know the real ones had Gary. Let's get it. So let's break down this card. Of course, we got to get into the bets as well. I had Giga Chikadze moneyline plus 108. After he was doing good in the first round, I was like, okay, let me do it. I put 25. And this is one thing that I wanted to say, guys. When you guys are live betting, you guys don't have to go that big because you never know. You guys can lose big, win big. Me, 8 months ago, I would have put 50. I would have been like, all right, let's do it. Live bet 50. Boom, you're down $50 now. I'm glad I only put 25 because now it makes it easier to get that back. So, in my opinion, sometimes it's good to go light on these cards. On the pay-per-views, we'll go big. But on these cards, it's unpredictable. The most unpredictable sport in the world. We don't have to go that big. So, negative 25. And then right here, technically 25, 26, 27, 28. Negative 28. Right here, over 2.5. Michelle Abus, which was a little bit of a Hail Mary. Giga Chikadze, David Onama, minus 154. Zhang Mengyang by KO. And then this fight to not go the distance didn't hit. So that was a 4-leg that didn't hit. And then this one was when I started to pick it up. We didn't hit no 10 legs this week, but we will definitely be cooking up something for UFC 315. Yes, Giga Chikadze fight goes the distance. Zhang Mingyang by KO. E Machado Gary. Let's go. $10 to win 41. So we got it back in blood. It's a lot easier when you're just putting 25 because it's easier to make the 25 back than, oh, I got to make the 50 back. You know what I'm saying? And then Abus Magomedov. David Onama by KO on points. Zhang Mingyang by KO. E Machado Gary. Let's go. We're back. We're already in the green. Let's get it, baby. And then my last one was under 1.5. Zhang Mingyang. Anthony Smith, man, was that a crazy fight. This guy, Anthony Smith, had the best retirement I've ever seen. Over 3.5. E Machado Gary versus Carlos Prates. Both bonuses hit, guys. I gave you guys the first bonus, over 2.5 Giga Chikadze Onama fight. And the second bonus, over 3.5 E Machado Gary versus Carlos Prates. I recommend you guys stay tuned for Wednesday, guys. 6 best bets and lock of the week, guys. We've been killing it for 7 weeks in a row, so let's get it. Here we go. Let's break down this full card. Let's go. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys could do one thing, just hit me with a like. Let's get it. So, Juliana Miller versus Ivana Petrović. A fight that I know a lot of people aren't really that anticipated for, but this is one of those fights where I like to see Juliana Miller, the killer, in this position. I'm going to say one thing. So, Juliana Miller is an automatic fade, but let's break it down. Plus 200 for Juliana Miller versus Ivana Petrović, minus 265. Juliana Miller, she's very new to her pro MMA career, only 3-3, Ultimate Fighter champion as well. Comes forward, always looks for a fight. She can grapple as well. I'd say her fight IQ isn't the best. That's her biggest red flag. She tends to fight based off of grit. Once on top, she can maintain some good top control, but she can seem a little uneasy once on top. Juliana Miller is in similar ways to Polyana Viana, who we saw last week. I wanted to make this comparison. Polyana Viana and Juliana Miller. They're basically very pretty, and that's pretty much it. Miller is on a 2-fight losing skid to Veronica Hardy and Luana Santos. She got TKO'd by Santos badly. Matched up against Ivana Petrović. 7-2, very good grappler, good striking as well. Ivana is coming off of a loss to Jamie Linhorth by split decision. She has good cage control, can get you down. Once down, she knows exactly what she's doing. She always hunts for the sub. Ivana should be a level above, although she looked terrible and off and a bit sloppy in her last fight against Jamie Linhorth. Juliana is 2-3 in her last 5. Ivana is 3-2 in her last 5. Give me Ivana Petrović by submission on points. Ivana should be able to get this job done, walking her down and implementing her strategies, get her down and work her BJJ. Give me Ivana Petrović for the W. I'll go by submission on points. If it's by decision, I'll go 29-28 unanimous decision. Let's go. But what is my rule of thumb? Rule of thumb is to never bet the first fight. Maybe we could take Ivana by sub or points in this instance, though. Let's go. Up the card. Dontel Mays versus Thomas Petersen. Dontel Mays plus 240. Thomas Petersen minus 280. This is one of those fights where we got to see where Thomas Petersen is at. A good scrap. I can imagine this scrap getting really ugly and sloppy. Thomas Petersen is coming off of that loss to Shamil Gaziev by KO. Thomas Petersen has a great ability to slow down a fight and make it his fight. We saw that on full display in his win against Mo Usman. Prior to that, he lost to Jamal Pogues, but beat Richard Foster by KO on Dana White Contender Series. He beat Richard Foster by KO, and on Dana White Contender Series, he beat Chandler Cole by submission in a key lock, which was a very impressive submission in my opinion. Petersen can hold you against the fence and work. He loves to work the clinch over and over again. Good control. Loves to press you against the fence. Good ground and pound as well. Petersen took down Shamil, but he still lost that fight. Matched up against heavy-handed Dontel Mays. He throws the whole kitchen sink at you. He will throw the entire kitchen sink at you with the kitchen included. I will say Dontel Mays just lost to Walter Walker by sub heel hook. No shame in losing to that because we know Walter Walker has gotten multiple heel hooks before. But I will say cardio is a massive factor for this fight, and this fight can get ugly very quick. Petersen gets you down. He can control you. In my opinion, let's go Petersen, but I will say if you're on Dontel Mays, you could take Dontel Mays by KO. We've seen Petersen get KO'd before, so sketchy fight, 1-800-GAMBLER fight. Give me Petersen by submission on points and Petersen by decision, and I'm going to take the over 2.5 in this fight, but I'm interested in seeing what you guys have for this fight. I'll take Petersen by decision, but I love that double chance, baby, by submission on points. Let's go. If I would have done the double chance for Jocelyn Edwards because I took Jocelyn Edwards money line, but if we would have done, instead of by submission on points, if we would have done by KO or on points, that would have cashed as well. So double chance has been doing wonders. Petersen for the dub by submission on points. Let's go, my guy. Let's go. Gaston Bolaños versus Quang Lee. Gaston Bolaños minus 166. Quang Lee plus 130. This is an absolute banger matchup in my opinion. One of my most anticipated matchups as well. After finding out who Gaston Bolaños is, I am very well aware of Gaston Bolaños now, especially after he beat Cortavius Romias. We know Cortavius just got his ass whooped by Chang Hon Lee. Bolaños has 5 TKOs in the first round and he has 5 TKOs in the first round, 1 in the second. So, when we look at Gaston Bolaños, power is on his side. I will say he does have 2 wins by decision. Bolaños has been KO'd before and he has been subbed twice. Bolaños is a Muay Thai striker with serious power. This guy has an insane spinning back elbow. He can get taken down though. He has some very serious grappling holes in my opinion. He has gotten taken down by Cortavius 4 times in that fight, which is a massive red flag. Matched up against Quang Lee, a little bit of a brawler. I'd say he stays outside the pocket, enters in very well. He can mix in some takedowns, but only if needed. Quang is a bit sloppy, as shown in his most recent fight against Long Zhao, where he was KO'd in round 3. He has yet to win in the UFC. He is 0-2, losing to Chris Gutierrez as well, and of course Long Zhao. We know Chris Gutierrez just beat John Castaneda. MMA math doesn't always work. Bolaños should be able to survive the chaos, overhand rights as well from Quang Lee. He has to survive the overhand rights because we know Quang Lee is going to get a little bit sloppy. He's going to get a little bit explosive. And he's going to look for those takedowns as well. I think Bolaños by KO or on points is the play here. Gaston Bolaños by KO or on points. If you want to take him straight by KO, it's possible as well. But I will say, guys, this is one of those fights where you don't have to go too crazy. You know he's gotten knocked out once. But we don't know if Bolaños is going to win another decision. So I like that double chance instead of playing it risky. Maybe an over 1.5. Give me Gaston Bolaños to win this fight by KO or on points. If it's by KO, I'll go second round. If it's by decision, I'm going to go 29-28. Unanimous decision, my guy Gaston Bolaños. Let's go, my guy. Show us what you got. Now, this is a fight that I'm very excited for. I know a lot of people aren't going to be excited for this fight, but this fight is one of those fights where this is a fight that can move the next person, the winner of this fight, up the rankings. Marina Rodriguez plus 235, Gillian Robertson minus 320. A scrap that if this was made 5 years ago, I'd go Marina Rodriguez. Just like how Anthony Smith said. He said, 5 years ago, I beat that guy. Marina is 1-4 in her last 5. That one win being by Michelle Waterson by KO. She lost to Amanda Lemos, Verna Jandaroba, Jessica Andrade by split, and Lasmin Lucindo by split. And we know Lasmin Lucindo just recently lost as well. Marina Rodriguez has a unique ability of starting off great, then getting taken down, controlled, a bit like Giga Chikadze and David Onama. I'd say Marina Rodriguez is very good. She's very good in the striking department, but that doesn't matter if you get taken down. Marina has a good 1-2, good footwork. When she's on her A game, she's very good at striking. She turns most strikers into wrestlers. I will say she lacks power and takedown defense. She's tall as well, which is massive red flags for this division, I'd say. Maybe sprinkling split decision might be worth it here because she's coming off of 2 split decisions losses, but I will say this one might look a little dominant. Meanwhile, matched up against Gillian Robertson, who was 4-1 in her last 5. Her most recent loss being to Tabitha Ricci, who we know Tabitha Ricci is like a volume fighter. So, if you lose to Tabitha Ricci, we know why. Gillian Robertson left Luana Pinheiro badly bruised for weeks after that elbow to the buttocks. If you guys know, you know. Gillian has a great top control and amazing ability to work. She has very good timing on her takedowns. She doesn't shoot out of desperation like Bryce Mitchell and averages around 3 takedowns per fight. She has 9 submission wins, all-time record holder for the most finishes in flyweight division, which is an absolute amazing alkaloid. If you have good takedown defense and good striking, you can most likely beat Gillian Robertson. But I will say, I think Marina Rodriguez being 38, she's not as good as she used to be. And that's why I was able to, I picked her. I picked her in Jessica Andrade. I picked her against Lasmin Lucindo as well. But now seeing her, watching her tape, watching those fights back, those fights that are winnable fights, we can see that age is a massive factor to why she's not able to be as sharp, why she's not able to get right back up, why her urgency isn't there. And I think age is going to be a factor in this fight, just like it is in most fights. I think Gillian Robertson should be able to get this job done. I like her by submission on points, although she has a 39% takedown accuracy. This can get ugly very quick if Marina defends those takedowns. And we know Marina Rodriguez has gone 5 rounds before. I believe she beat Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern, Yan Nan, Michelle Waterson Gomez, Amanda Ribas. She was on a crazy streak. And unfortunately, it ended. But I will say, momentum is very important in this game. Gillian has a 3-fight win streak. Momentum is very important. Gillian by several points. I say double chance because she couldn't finish Michelle Waterson if her life depended on it. And we know a girl who has the most finishes in the flyweight division. What happens? She can't finish Michelle Waterson. 2 + 2 = 4. But in this case, it might go the distance. So give me double chance. Gillian Robertson by submission on points. I'm going to go Gillian by decision. 29-28 after losing the first round because we know Marina always comes in with style in that first round. Let's go. Azamat Bekoev versus Ryan Loder. Azamat minus 360, Ryan Loder plus 260. This is an elite scrap for the people who love wrestling, because if you know American wrestling versus Russian wrestling, Ryan Loder is a Division I wrestler. We all saw what he did to Robert Valentin. He is Robert Valentin's dad. Ryan Loder is a parlay buster and Ultimate Fighter champion, has an excellent timing on his takedowns. His wrestling is very good, and he doesn't shoot out of desperation like Bryce Mitchell. He works. This guy can manage distance. Once he backs you up on the cage, shoots, looks to drag you down, capitalize on any mistakes that you make, relies on the fence for his takedowns. At times, he pushes you against it, and then he looks to shoot. He has good striking and can hang with very heavy hitters, good low kicks, but his grappling is his bread and butter, we all know. Matched up against Azamat Bekoev. This guy is an absolute demon. An athlete with a record of 19-3. If you remember his UFC debut, he absolutely wiped the floor with Zach Reese and KO'd him with 3 minutes into round 1. Very heavy hands. Good boxing, decent takedown defense. He can get wild, but rightfully so. This guy is looking to hunt you down, and he can wrestle as well. This guy brings a lot of tools to the toolbox in his arsenal. And surprisingly good BJJ. 8 submission wins on his record. Azamat is kind of small for middleweight, but we've seen smaller guys have successes in this division. Torres, Finney. Ryan Loder is being fed to the wolves. Ryan Loder can show durability. American wrestler versus Russian wrestler. We'll see who prevails. One of my most anticipated matchups. Give me Azamat by KO or sub. Azamat by KO on points. Maybe an over 1.5. Maybe if Ryan Loder can survive this fight. If Ryan Loder shoots a takedown, he can make this even and survive the over 1.5. Ryan Loder being patient can sometimes be worrisome and can lead him to get a little bit caught, especially in this fight. But I think Ryan Loder might be able to hit that over 1.5 for us. But it's going to be crazy. Over, under 1.5. We'll see if the price tag is there. We'll see if the total's a good price. But give me Azamat Bekoev by KO or submission inside the distance. Let's go, my guy. A lot of people have KO or on points. So if you want to go double chance, seems like by KO or on points is the way. I like by KO on points as well. I'll go Azamat Bekoev by KO. Give me by third round KO, late TKO. If not, 29-28. Unanimous decision, my guy. That's going to be a banger scrap. And dude, I cannot wait for that scrap. That's going to be a banger scrap. Let's go. Yana Santos versus Miesha Tate. Yana Santos plus 112. Miesha Tate minus 142. This is another fight where it's a little bit of a sketchy fight. We'll see what Miesha Tate has. Cupcake. I'm glad Miesha Tate is back. She's been in the UFC since 2013. And this is going to be a fight where we'll see where she's at. Excuse me. So, Miesha Tate is an absolute dog. Yana Santos is coming off of that decision win over Chelsea Chandler, who we all saw just get brutally KO'd by Jocelyn Edwards. So, I don't think that win over Chelsea Chandler is that good. Yana Santos has absolutely insanely high volume, landing almost 5 significant strikes per minute. She lacks power but has cardio on her side, along with wrestling and kicks. Sometimes she can manage to get her opponent down. So what I say about Yana Santos is she can't get her opponent down if her life depended on it. If her life depended on it, she can't get her opponent down. Matched up against former bantamweight champion Miesha Tate. She is very good in the wrestling department. In fact, I believe her wrestling is why she's still here and she's still able to compete at 38 years old. She still has amazing technique, brilliant fight IQ, and an undeniable ability to never give up. She's fought the who's who, Amanda Nunes, Raquel Pennington, Ketlin Vera, Ronda Rousey, Kat Zingano. She's coming off of a submission win over Julia Alvia. But we all know Julia is older than a granny. This is a 1-800-gambler type of fight. Maybe an over 2.5 in this fight. Miesha by sub or points if you're on the Miesha side. Yana Santos is a very good underdog. Maybe plus 3.5 for her, or maybe plus 3.5 for Miesha Tate. But give me Yana Santos for the W. Yana Santos is younger, more better striker. And we know Miesha Tate needs that takedown or else she's going to lose this fight. But Miesha Tate always brings it, and I'm glad that we have her here still in the UFC. We'll see how she is. We'll see how she goes. We'll see if she can bring it. Give me Yana Santos for the dub. Money line, let's go Yana Santos. I believe she's a plus 112. Let's go Yana Santos. Get the value while you can right now. Let's go up the card. Jeremy Stephens. Jeremy Stephens versus Mason Jones. Another one of my most anticipated fights. Plus 400 for Jeremy Stephens. Mason Jones minus 620. Both of these guys were cut from the UFC and now are back for an absolute bloodbath. Jeremy Stephens is a beast, one of the rare guys who entered the UFC in 2007, left the UFC in 2021, and is now back. He is a true vet, a true durable warrior. He was on a 5-fight skid before getting cut by the UFC. He went to PFL, went 1-2, went to bare knuckle, and he had a lot more success there because this guy, when he KOs people, they don't move. This guy is one of the hardest hitting fighters of all time. When he hits people, they don't move. Jeremy Stephens is 15-18 in the UFC. He has 18 KOs on his entire career. Most of his losses are by decision. In fact, he's lost 13 fights by decision. So if we're going Mason Jones, maybe we could go Mason Jones by decision. Matched up against Mason Jones, surprisingly, Mason Jones is very good, has an insanely high takedown defense. He's on a 4-fight win streak, finishing Alexandre Ribeiro, knocking out Jan Liassi, knocking out Bryce Logan, and beating Michael Pigani by decision. Mason Jones has 7 TKO wins. The fact he is on a 4-fight regional streak means he has a lot of momentum, and what do I say? Momentum is one of the most important factors to winning a fight. Both of these guys are going to throw the entire kitchen sink at each other. Mason Jones from Des Moines, Iowa, I believe. Moines, correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I believe he's from the same spot. It's going to be a hometown guy. Jeremy by KO or Mason Jones by KO on points. Jeremy's exciting, and honestly, I'm glad that he's back in the UFC. Guys, I've never had the chance to bet on Jeremy or against Jeremy Stephens ever. So the fact that he's here, guys, it makes things so much more interesting, guys. Let's go. Give me Mason Jones by KO on points. The pick is going to be Mason Jones, and I'm going to take double chance by KO on points. I think he should be able to finish this fight inside the distance. If not inside the distance, we know this guy beat Eddie Alvarez. Look at his bare knuckle record, guys. It's obviously not going to show because it's boxing, but look. Jimmy Rivera, Bobby Taylor, Eddie Alvarez. This guy is an absolute beast, and I think BKFC is his style. I think he should have stayed in BKFC, but he's looking for better opportunities. Give me Mason Jones for the win. I'm going to go by KO on points. Let's go, my guy. Let's go. Let's go up the card. Let's go up the card. Main card time, baby. Cameron Smotherman versus Serhiy Sidey. I will say this is one of my most anticipated fights again on this card. Plus 124 for Cameron Smotherman. Sidey minus 158. Cameron Smotherman is on a 4-fight win streak, making his UFC debut on short notice against Jake Hadley. We saw Jake Hadley win on PFL with the Scottish Twister against Mateus Motos. He is a great counter striker. Cameron Smotherman is a great counter striker with good combos, good takedown defense. If taken down, he can seem a bit off. Against Jake Hadley, he kept on poking Jake Hadley's eye, and he lost a point for that. So I will say, guys, I better hope, if you're on Cameron Smotherman, you better hope this guy's not going to get a point deducted, because if he does, it's going to be a close fight, and you don't want to get a point deducted in this type of fight. Matched up against Sidey. Sidey is a tall fighter who likes to brawl, a good jab, but he doesn't really use his management of range. This guy can use his length. He can use his reach advantage. He's 5'11", 72-inch reach, and this guy just loves to fucking fight. This guy looks to scrap in the pocket way more often than I'd like him to. Good BJJ, but he's chinny. Sidey is an absolute dog, always brings it. Sidey has had super close fights, time and time again. Some even say they thought he won that fight against Roman Tavares. If you don't know, he KO'd Roman Tavares on Dana White Contender Series. A bit of an early stoppage, but then he lost the rematch. He was bleeding a lot in the rematch, from what I can remember. He's coming off of that close win over Garrett Armfield by split decision, but I will say, in my opinion, I thought Garrett Armfield won that fight. Where he was outstriking in that fight, he was taken down 4 times in control for 5 minutes. Sidey has an issue making fights way more closer than they need to be. He's a bit chinny as well. Some can even say Sidey lost that fight against Garrett Armfield, but it is what it is. Majority of Tapology is on Cameron Smotherman. Meanwhile, Sidey is the favorite. Cameron Smotherman by KO on points for me. Give me Cameron Smotherman by KO or on points. Let's go, my guy. I'm going to go Cameron Smotherman by decision. But if he does get a KO, you got to get it. You got to get it on Sidey, bro. He's chinny. You can get the job done. And you can finish this guy inside the distance. I like by KO on points. But if it is going to go the distance, I'll go by 29-28 after him losing the second round. Let's go, Smotherman, for the dub. Show us what you got, my guy. Let's go for your second fight in the UFC. That is crazy. That's a crazy fight. The matchmaking on this card is absolutely insane. Montel Jackson versus Daniel Marcos. Can the card get any better than this? Montel Jackson versus Daniel Marcos. Montel Jackson is a minus 245. Daniel Marcos plus 186. This card is stacked. This fight is a very elite fight. Montel Jackson, the powerhouse, versus the undefeated Daniel Marcos. Montel Jackson He's very well-rounded. He can do it all. He has great takedowns, great takedown defense, averages around 4 takedowns per fight. And this guy, you know, he can do it all. He has KOs, he has subs, and he can win a decision as well. He then went on a 5-fight win streak, most recently knocking out Damon Blackshear with a straight left in 18 seconds, guys. We just saw Damon Blackshear perform. How good is Damon Blackshear? More than so, how good is Montel Jackson? We know he lost to Brett Johns by decision, but then he went on a 5-fight win streak. He is 8-2 in the UFC. He's a very good athlete. He has 8 KOs, 1 sub, and 5 wins by decision. So if anything, maybe Montel can find maybe he can find that chin. Matched up against Daniel Marcos, an excellent striker's delight, who looks to keep it on the feet, defend takedowns, stay in the middle, and work. I will say, Daniel Marcos was getting his legs absolutely chewed up by Adrian Yanez. The fight was closer than I'd imagined it to be. Marcos has 8 KOs wins and 9 wins by decision, 3 of them being by split decision. Daniel Marcos being 4-0 in the UFC undefeated makes this a little bit harder to predict in my opinion, because 2025 is the year of the undefeated losing. Marcos has great takedown defense, just lacks power, very good cardio, but you can tell in his last fight, in my opinion, it was a little closer than I'd like it to. Against Adrian Yanez, gave him a run for his money, and we know that he had a no contest right here as well against Arichi Lang, but it happens. I will say I have a lot more trust in fighters that lost before because they've taken that loss. But this is going to be one of those fights where plus 3.5 on either side is very good. Marcos has the better cardio in my opinion, and he can get a bit more technical in my opinion. Maybe Daniel Marcos plus 3.5 and over 2.5 here as well. I think an over 2.5 is very likely. Guys, I don't know if I'm going to pick flip. I think I might pick flip. But I don't like to pick flip. Because pick flipping gets a little iffy. I was one-on-one pick flipping last week. I'm going to go Montel Jackson by KO on points, but there is some value, guys. There is some serious value on Daniel Marcos, guys. I'd recommend at a plus 186, guys, take Daniel Marcos right now, because after that first round, after that second round, I could see the live betting being minus 113 on either side. I really like Daniel Marcos in this spot, but I will say the reach disadvantage, 69 to 75 in the height, and Montel Jackson having momentum, losing before. I can favor Montel Jackson in this fight, but this is definitely a fight where we can look and be like, damn, how good is Daniel Marcos? Give me Montel Jackson for the win by KO on points, but damn, that is a good fight. Low confidence on Montel Jackson. I don't know if I said Daniel Marcos. Let me clear that up. Give me Montel Jackson by KO on points. I don't know what I said 5 seconds earlier. I'm going to take Montel Jackson by KO on points, but damn, Daniel Marcos can definitely give you a run for your money. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel Rodriguez. This is a fight where it's going to be an absolute banger scrap. Let's go. Let's break it down. Ponzinibbio, minus 113. Daniel Rodriguez, minus 113. Another banger scrap that will have you on the edge of your seat. Daniel Rodriguez is 2-3 in his last 5. Ponzi is 2-3 in his last 5 as well. Ponzi is a bit chinny, but he has a heart made out of gold. Very good striker and will always bring it. Even if you drop him, Ponzi will always spring right back up, bounce right back up, and he fights with everything. This guy has a very clean boxing, good distance management. He lacks power, but he has very high volume and cardio on his side. He's coming off of that war KO win over Carlston Harris. Prior to that, he lost to Kevin Holland and Muslim Salikov, matched up against Daniel Rodriguez. I still don't know how this guy beat the Leech. How did this guy beat Li Jing Liang by split decision? One of his wins in his last 5 is a split decision win over Leech. How? Go watch that fight back. I don't know how the fuck he won that fight, but it is what it is. It happens. After he won that robbery, he lost to Neil Magny by Darce choke. Who loses to Neil Magny, bro? Sorry. Who loses to Neil Magny? It is what it is, though. He lost to Ian Machado Gary by head kick TKO and Kelvin Gastelum in a close fight. I will say he brung it to Kelvin Gastelum in that fight. And then he beat Alex Moreno by split. He has good boxing, good low kicks, very heavy-handed. But when he gets taken down, he is a wet noodle on his back. Against Alex Moreno, it took him a little bit longer to adjust. And he lost the first round against Alex Moreno. Ponzi KO'd Alex Moreno. And MMA math doesn't always work. But this fight will be a war. That's one thing that we can say. They both fought Alex Moreno. So if you want to do tape study, I recommend go watch the Alex Moreno fight with Santiago Ponzinibbio and with Daniel Rodriguez. This is a banger fight, an absolute war, has bloodbath written all over it. This pick is going to be Daniel Rodriguez, very low confidence. I love Ponzinibbio, guys. He's from Argentina. He's very close from where I am from. And I will always back Ponzinibbio. I picked Ponzinibbio against Carlos Harris, I believe. I've been picking Ponzinibbio. I believe I picked him against Alex Moreno. But I can't pick Ponzinibbio right now. I would love to pick Ponzinibbio. Majority topologies on Ponzinibbio. I want to go Daniel Rodriguez, guys. I really do. They're both 38, 6-0, 6-1, 1-800 gambler type of fight, guys. The reason why I'm going Daniel Rodriguez is because of the power. I think Ponzinibbio gets tagged a little bit too much. This is a banger fight. It's going to be an absolute war. But I will say, low confidence on Daniel Rodriguez. I might go to Ponzi. This is the only exception for a pick flip. But I will say, I don't like how Ponzinibbio sometimes gets tagged. He's a bit chinny and he could get hit a little bit more than I'd like him to. Daniel Rodriguez always is known for fumbling the bag like always and losing. So this is a 1-800 gambler fight. I'm not going to bet it. But I will say, guys, maybe an over 1.5, maybe an over 2.5. There's some value there. Miesha and Abus, over 2.5 was some value right there. If Daniel Rodriguez loses, he's probably going to lose the first round and then he loses, by decision. Give me Daniel Rodriguez by KO on points. Low confidence. Let's go, my guy. Show us what you got to tag up Ponzi and unfortunately win by decision. If not by KO, let's go, my guy. Let's go. Low confidence, though, but let's go. Reinier de Ridder versus Bo Nickal. Plus 230 for Reinier de Ridder. Bo Nickal minus 310. Can I explain to you guys how much of an absolute banger fight this is? You can't get better than this. I know a lot of people don't like Bo Nickal, but you cannot get better than this matchmaking. This is why the UFC is one of the best companies for mixed martial arts, if not the best. One of my most anticipated fights of all time. I've been waiting for this fight since the day it was announced. If you guys know, in the community tab, I already did a poll for this. I've been waiting for this fight since the day it was announced. Reinier de Ridder is a former 2-division champ in ONE FC, but lost both belts to the same guy. He also went to war with Gerald Meerschaert. He got dropped in the first round, and then he took over, made some questionable decisions in that fight before finding the sub over GM3. RDR is on a 3-fight win streak. RDR is tall, he can manage distance, he's a bit sloppy on the feet, but his sub gaming is his bread and butter. RDR has a very good ability to never accept no for an answer. JM3 was throwing the entire kitchen sink. In fact, they both got so tired that fight. This guy, RDR, can be tired, and he's like, I'm not tired. I'm going. He just keeps on pushing. RDR has 9 submission wins in the first round, 2 in the second, and 3 in the third. 3 TKOs, and he has 2 wins by decision. So if anything, if you're on RDR, maybe it's inside the distance. I will say moneyline is very value on RDR. Matched up against the NCAA beast, Bo Nickal, multiple Division I national championship winner, very good alkaloids. Bo Nickal is an NCAA legend. Individual titles. He won the NCAA title in 2017, 2018, and 2019, and was a finalist in 2016. All-American status, he was named an All-American 4 times. In 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. Big Ten championship. He won 3 Big Ten conference championships in 2016, 2018, and 2019. Team success. He helped Penn State win 4 NCAA titles, team titles for 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. Freestyle wrestling. He also achieved success in freestyle wrestling, winning the 2019 U23 World Championship and the US Open. He then transitioned to MMA after having success in college wrestling and at the all-time elite wrestling. This guy's an incredible American wrestler who is making waves in MMA. And in his last fight, I will say, against Paul Craig, a lot of fans hated that performance because he won by decision. Many people were expecting Bo Nickal to absolutely just run through Paul Craig. I thought that this fight was perfect for him to work on his striking. He didn't wrestle at all that fight because Paul Craig is a very good submission specialist. And it was a bit of a lackluster fight, but it was a perfect opponent for Bo Nickal to work on his striking and his boxing. Bo Nickal will utilize his wrestling here. Count me on it. I'm 100% sure that Bo Nickal will use his wrestling here. I will say, him being undefeated is a massive red flag. Bo Nickal's toughest test in his entire career. I enjoy Bo Nickal's timing, his overhand right into a takedown. I really love that. I like that takedown. Bo Nickal needs to implement wrestling right away, and he needs to show and solidify that he's the better grappler in this fight. Bo Nickal trains at American Top Team. He has good wrestlers all around him, but he needs to make sure he has an ability to nullify the submissions at all times. RDR is going to be chasing submissions. He might even shoot on Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal, your takedown defense needs to be on point. Offensive takedowns, top control, and you need to nullify all of those submission attempts coming at you. Over 1.5 is what I like here. But let me tell you something. This is Bo Nickal's toughest test of all time in his entire career. These matchmakers know exactly what they're doing right here. Moneyline is the play for Bo Nickal. RDR might bring it to him. He might throw the entire kitchen sink. This guy, RDR, doesn't take no for an answer. If you like RDR, take him right now, because his odds might shrink. It is much easier to finish a bad takedown than it is to defend one. So, give me Bo Nickal moneyline. Give me Bo Nickal by KO on points. Let's go, my guy, Bo Nickal. Moneyline at a -310. I like it. Let's go, my guy, Bo Nickal. But majority Tapology is going RDR by submission. Look at this. So if you like RDR, take RDR now. But I'm very high on my guy, Bo Nickal. Let's go. He's going to look 10 times better than the last time he looked. Let's go, Bo Nickal, for the dub. Let's go. Main event time, boys and girls. Main event time. Let's go. Drop a like, guys, if you guys haven't already, guys. 36-minute gang. Commented. Let's go. -480 for Cory Sandhagen. Deiveson Figueiredo +330. Cory Sandhagen is 10-4 in the UFC. A high-volume striker with excellent footwork, cardio, and speed, and fight IQ is all going to be on his side. He tends to lack power and can struggle against grapplers like Aljo, Umar, and Dillashaw. Although that Dillashaw fight, we all can say that Cory won that fight. Cory has good footwork, good BJJ, will always move. He never stays still. This guy has very good footwork, and he will wrestle if needed to. I will say, Cory defended 8 takedowns against Umar, which is very impressive. Cory uses cardio to his advantage. Cory has gotten dropped before, and we know Figgy was the first person to ever drop Marlon Chito Vera. So how hard does Deiveson Figueiredo hit? I can see Cory getting dropped by a huge straight down the middle, but then recovering. So, excuse me, guys, I had to burp right there. But I can see Deiveson Figueiredo walking down Cory Sandhagen. You know how he does against Joseph Benavidez. He killed him, walking him down, and then just landing that right down the middle. And we know Deiveson Figueiredo is a switch stance, so he will definitely adjust. I will say, I can definitely see Deiveson Figueiredo to land one knockdown. I want to see what that prop would be, because I can see Figgy dropping Cory. Notable performances for Cory are Peter Yan. I'd say Peter Yan, but he lost that fight, but he did very good in that fight. Mario Batista, John Lineker, Marlon Moraes, Frankie Edgar, Marlon Vera, and Rob Font. We know both of these guys beat Rob Font and Marlon Vera. Matched up against former flyweight champion of the world, Deiveson Figueiredo. Who remembers when Figgy fought on 2 pay-per-views back-to-back? UFC 255, Figgy versus Alex Perez, and UFC 256, Figgy versus Moreno. I would say that was one of the biggest mistakes in his entire career. Figgy had to cut twice, back-to-back, for 2 pay-per-views. This guy was on UFC 255 against Alex Perez, and on UFC 256, Figgy versus Moreno, and he ended up going to a draw with Moreno. I think that was a very, very foolish decision to make. Why would you fight on 2 pay-per-views back-to-back? Obviously, it's a record, but dude, that could have taken some consideration into why he went to a draw with Brandon Moreno. But it is what it is. Deiveson Figueiredo is a switch stance Muay Thai fighter. He primarily fights from an orthodox stance, but is known to switch to southpaw stance during matches. Since Figgy has moved up, he has beaten Rob Font, Cody Garbrandt, Marlon Vera. Those are very good wins, and he has way more power. This guy has way more power at bantamweight than he ever did at 125. Figgy has wrestled a lot more since moving up. He has 9 takedowns in his last 4 fights. Figgy walks you down, stalks his opponent, and you know that big straight down the middle is coming. This guy's going to stalk you down and land that straight down the middle and look for it. He most recently lost to Peter Yan, and he got outclassed in that fight. No shame in losing to Peter Yan. Peter Yan is as good as it gets. I think this is a good matchup for Figgy to perform. He can have some success early, and I can even see this fight being 2-2 heading into the 5th. But I will say the pick is going to be Cory Sandhagen by 48-47, 49-46, and 48-47 unanimous decision. But if his chin gets cracked, this could all be over, because I don't know if Cory can take a shot from Figgy. I don't know. And we know if Figgy senses the finish, if he smells blood, he's going to chase Cory and he's going to work for that finish. I expect Figgy to have cardio. He went 5 rounds with Petr Yan. He should look 10 times better than how he looked against Petr Yan. So I'm expecting the best Deiveson Figueiredo. And at a plus 330, at a minus 480 for Cory, these odds are disrespectful. Minus 480 for Cory Sandhagen, Deiveson Figueiredo plus 330. The odd makers do not know what they're doing with this fight. We'll see. We'll see if the odds shrink on Cory Sandhagen. Remember, Cory's a massive favorite. He's a massive price tag to fit. But just like Zhang Ming Yang, he was a minus 560. Zhang Ming Yang against Anthony Smith was a minus 560. And then the fight night came. The fight night came, and what happened? He went as low as a minus 370. So Zhang Ming Yang against Anthony Smith was a minus 560, right? And then fight night came. Zhang Ming Yang lowered all the way down to a minus 370. And then he went back up to like a minus 400-ish. But there's going to be a chance where the odds might drop on Cory Sandhagen. Keep an eye on that odds. Keep an eye on the odds. Because if you can see Cory Sandhagen anything under a minus 480, it's a good parlay piece. At a minus 300, good parlay piece. There's value. But at a minus 500, it seems like they're going to think that Cory Sandhagen is just going to dominate this fight. Maybe a live bet is very good in this fight as well. But with all that being said, guys, give me Cory Sandhagen to win this fight by KO on points, and I expect the odds to reduce, guys. I expect Cory Sandhagen, I expect Cory Sandhagen to be a minus 300 by, maybe Thursday, Friday. If not, maybe there's some value on Wednesday. We'll see if there's some value. But give me Cory Sandhagen to win this fight by 48-47, 49-46, and 48-47. Let me know what you guys think, guys. And sorry if I stuttered a little bit. I'm working on my pronunciation. I'm working on my vocabulary. So I'm trying to give you guys the best data all in a short amount of time and the most information that I can give you guys. So God bless. I hope you guys enjoyed this fight card prediction, guys. And good luck on Saturday because this is going to be an absolute amazing card. We have 12 fights. We just had an amazing 14-fight card. And the UFC has been blessing us, guys. UFC 315 in 2 weeks. Stay tuned, guys. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it. The best is blessed, baby. Take care. Peace. Ayy.